Howdy, this is PhantomStrider, and today we're looking at Peppa Pig. Let's review something that far more resembles a mass-spreading virus pandemic than a kids' cartoon. It's on merchandise, movies, toys, mugs, and spreads mixed messages to young children, such as fat-shaming, tantrums, bossiness, and endless snorting.
And this is Daddy Pig.
It insidiously creeps its way into the video feed of you, me, and worst of all, young kids. You and I may fob it off as just garbage, but young kids don't always have that capacity.
Hello, Peppa?
Chances are you won't be able to escape this badly drawn, unimaginative, bossy little snort unless you live in a cave. And even then, I can't guarantee it. It's a show that's so bland, banal, and unimaginative that kids will likely be stupider for watching it.
By simply rubbing these two sticks together.
Daddy Pig is rubbing the two sticks together.
Whoa! Lucky you told me there, Mr. Narrator. I'm sure no kid could have worked out that Daddy was rubbing the two sticks together unless you had said so after he had just said so. But luckily, we have you, Mr. Bland Narrator. So anyway, let's check out the top 6 worst Peppa Pig episodes. And obviously, I am so the wrong demographic for this cartoon that it's a statement about postmodernism that I'm talking to you about it at all. Anyway, on to the countdown. Number 6, The Sleepover.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
The Sleepover! Oh boy, I can't wait. Doesn't this sound like a truly epic, thrilling piece of animation to truly challenge the children, offering imaginative settings and a new perspective on the universe that will give them wisdom and reflection? No, it doesn't. It sounds like every other Peppa Pig episode in the world.
Zoe has her toy monkey.
Oh.
Emily has her frog. Susie has her owl.
Oh, get on with it. You've only got 5 minutes per episode. How can you spend a 5-minute episode sandbagging? Honestly, we're mostly just watching Peppa Pig and her friends be obnoxious little twerps. They start the sleepover by forcefully changing the channel while Mr. Zebra is watching it.
That's better.
I was watching that.
But it was a bit boring, Daddy.
And then shun a bunch of 3-year-olds and make them
The
cry.
sleepover is only for big girls.
Yeah, some real heroines here. Fine examples for our youth. Then we listen to the kids give a piano performance equivalent to a wailing banshee's death cry.
Can I have a go? And me. Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Isn't that just music to your ears? I'm sure no child would emulate the repeated slamming of keys on the piano late at night. I'm sure the parents of the world thank you, Peppa Pig. They raid the fridge, they make a racket, and we just basically watch these kids act like rat bags for the entire episode, keeping the poor male dad up.
Daddy Zebra is going to bed now.
Very well, Mummy Zebra.
I think we know what that means. Of course, the most amusing part of watching Peppa Pig online is reading the YouTube comments. And the 5th worst Peppa Pig episode is The Quarrel. Peppa and Susie get into a terrible fight after Susie cheats at Snap.
I did not. I don't want to play with you anymore.
But the dialogue was so complicated that I wasn't able to figure out the subtle intricacies of the conversations occurring. Luckily, we have the narrator here to repeat the exact events that have just occurred.
Oh dear, Peppa and Susie have had a quarrel.
Whew, what a relief. For a second there, I thought children were actually required to use the cognitive capacity beyond that of a breadstick. How does this heartbreaking quarrel get resolved? Why, of course, Peppa Pig and Susie simultaneously say sorry.
Sorry.
Now you can be best friends again.
Hooray!
That fixes everything. And the 4th worst Peppa Pig episode is The Noisy Night. You know what's even better than watching Peppa Pig do nothing? Watching Peppa and her family be continually tortured with constant wailing, loud trumpets, vacuums, and alarms.
Why is Auntie Pig playing a trumpet?
To get Alexander to sleep.
So the story is, Peppa's family are having a sleepover at Cousin Chloe's house.
Peppa's family are having a sleepover at Cousin...
Shut up! But the twist? Chloe's family is a noisy family. I wonder what's going to happen when Peppa's family tries to sleep.
Baby Alexander is awake.
This isn't really an episode so much as a continual battering of your will to not smash your speakers to pieces.
Daddy Pig has set off the noisy house alarm.
I pity any person who is present when a young child binge watches this episode. You have my condolences in advance. And the third worst Peppa Pig episode is Spring. You know, the weird part about Peppa Pig is that not only is the animation plastic, but everything else is plastic about it too. The story is as bland as plastic, the writing feels plastic, hell, even the voices somehow feel plastic. That shouldn't be possible, but somehow Peppa Pig finds a way to outbland the impossible.
Grandpa Pig has made a chocolate egg hunt.
Freddy Fox isn't here.
Would it emotionally challenge the kids too much for you to raise that monotone voice slightly? And there is simply zero interest or conflict of any kind in this episode. Peppa Pig and her friends go for an egg hunt, and the narrator insightfully points out to us each time one of them finds an egg.
Rebecca Rabbit has found a chocolate egg. Emily Elephant has found a chocolate egg. Freddy Fox has found a chocolate egg.
For a second there, I thought you were actually going to get the kids to think and observe objects for themselves. And for the last 2 minutes, we watched the kids jump around pretending to be chicks.
I like to pick up food with my beak, beak, beak.
I guess 5 minutes was too long a runtime to ask of them. And the second worst Peppa Pig episode is Picnic. This episode seems to be dedicated to making fun of Daddy Pig's weight.
Maybe Daddy should run around a bit. His tummy is quite big.
My tummy is not big.
Teaching 4-year-olds to fat shame family members seems to be a recurring theme in Peppa Pig.
So much for Daddy Pig and his exercise.
Oh, leave the poor guy alone. He was probably up at 5 a.m. making that picnic lunch for the family. Let him enjoy the freaking moment and have a snooze in the sun.
Ooh, a wasp!
No, that's a bee, you twit.
I hate wasps.
I mean, you see the yellow colouring in the spots? It's not me, that's quite clearly a bee. I mean, did no one seriously bother to check between the writers and the animation department as to what they're actually looking at? I guess they didn't have long-distance phone credit to Asia. The rest of the episode is basically watching the family laugh at Daddy Pig as he's chased down by a bee.
Get it off me!
Could you at least look a little worried and not beamingly happy as your dad is chased down in terror? Hell, maybe stop eating your cake and go over and try and help him? This isn't even a realistic family setting. The father is legitimately terrified. And then after all that, because Daddy hasn't suffered enough, they force Daddy Pig to give his cake to ducks. Really? Daddy Pig hasn't earned a piece of cake? It's like they're relishing it, their father's suffering. It's awful. This is a prime example of Peppa Pig and her family being lousy role models to young children. As for dishonorable mentions, I tried to come up with some, but each episode was worse than the last one I watched. So eventually I decided on this choice. All of them. From the monotonous narrator to the incessant oinking, each episode just got stupider by the minute. But there was one episode that was so dangerously stupid that it had to go at number 1. So, here we go. And the number 1 worst Peppa Pig episode is Mr. Skinnylegs.
George wants the spider to be his friend.
Oh.
An episode that encourages children to play with venomous, deadly insects. Why am I not surprised?
The spider likes George.
See this here? This is the funnel web spider. And this is the redback spider. And this is the white-tailed spider. All local residents of my home country, Australia. These spiders don't just bite, they poison and kill.
Daddy! There's a spider in my bedroom.
There's no need to be afraid, Peppa. Spiders are very, very small, and they can't hurt you.
Wow. Okay, you can already see the venom coming off the tips of the fangs.
No, George. He wants some tea.
That's what it does to an adult. Think of what it does to a young child. And we lost another young man to a redback back in 2016. And good old responsible Peppa Pig is encouraging toddlers to play with spiders. Sorry, Peppa, you've done some dumb stuff, but you're not getting off the hook for this one. I know this show is meant to be brainless enough to be processable by the gnat on the ceiling, but this is the most thick-headed, irresponsible message the writers have sent so far. I consider Mr. Skinnylegs the most dangerous, stupid, terrible episode of Peppa Pig of them all.
Peppa likes Mr. Skinnylegs. Everyone likes Mr. Skinnylegs.
It can be tempting to leave Peppa Pig as a babysitter for some parents, particularly when YouTube spreads it like a pandemic virus. But why show our kids this junk when we've got challenging, imaginative, insightful, and far more fun shows like Puffin Rock, Sophia the First, hell, show them Winnie the Pooh. We've got so many insightful, hard-working animators and writers in Netflix, Cartoon Network, Warner Brothers, Nickelodeon, Disney, Pixar, and DreamWorks that there's simply no reason Peppa Pig should be popular other than convenience and because YouTube recommended it. But just because the YouTube algorithm recommends kids junk, that doesn't mean we should accept what it tries to push on them. Kids deserve all the creativity of the previous generations in their entertainment, and that's exactly what the good modern cartoons give us. And if you think I missed a worse than normal Peppa Pig episode, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This button is, well, I tend to find it really annoying when people ask me to subscribe. In fact, I tend to unsubscribe from people when they ask me to subscribe. I tend to think if people enjoy your videos, they'll subscribe if they want to.